Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
Jeremy Hogan kind of touched what I'm talking about too, because I've told you, XRP, XLM, and gold, that's my game right now, okay? You honestly believe, and I do have a little bit of Ethereum in one of those Ethereum trusts. See, a lot of people think that I'm somehow anti-Ethereum. I'm not at all. In fact, I want Ethereum to do well. I want Bitcoin to do well. I want them all to do well. What I am is I'm anti-corruption for one thing. All I ever wanted was a level playing field, and I believe that there are nefarious actors who tried to engineer crypto so that there was not a level playing field and Ethereum got advantages. That's what I believe, okay? And so I'm not wanting Ethereum to be hurt. I just want a level playing field. And until we get a level playing field and get all of this, what I believe is corruption, out of the way, until that happens, we have no choice but to put a big, huge spotlight on what looks like has been done here. We have to try to get the level playing field. That's the pressure point, in my opinion. Now, so Jeremy Hogan, to me, I think his answer kind of goes to what I was just talking about gold. This person says, do you honestly believe $10 to $35 per XRP is possible? $10 to $35 per XRP is absolutely possible, or much higher. The question is not whether XRP can reach X dollars, but what the dollar will be worth at that time. Now, let's say hypothetically that XRP is exactly what we think it is. What is the one problem that gold has? What is the one problem that gold has always had? Well, I would say transferability. I mean, you can't, what are you going to do? Get your pallet of gold and take it with you to, from here to there? No, you're not. What if gold was on the blockchain at some point? What blockchain could solve the transferability problem better than any? Okay, Tony Valentino. Now, a lot of people think this is the real one. I don't know, but that doesn't mean that I can't agree with this version of Tony Valentino's tweet. So I don't have to know. XRP is ready to become the lifeblood of new financial system. Ripple is soon to become a bank tied to the Federal Reserve. RippleNet has now matured. Key milestones hit as the dev staff reduce. The ramp up of government old guard comes. XRP Army on the right side of history. This part right here is very interesting to me. Ripple is soon to become a bank. Wouldn't that be something? Boy, you know how fast that this digital asset investor would be at the doors of Ripple Bank to open my bank account? Very fast. Okay. Stefan Huber was hard at work. A lot of the internet sleuths were hard at work this weekend. Check this out. Clayton gets millions from Sullivan Cromwell as SEC chairman. Clayton sues Ripple on his last day. A competitor of Sullivan Cromwell client Consensus. Joe Lubin, CEO of Consensus, defends Clayton's lawsuit as good. Sullivan Cromwell organizes $500 million for Consensus. And he's got these thumbnails where he's showing all of this, okay? And then he says, John Deaton, did you know that Clayton law firm Sullivan and Cromwell organized and provided legal services for Consensus' latest $500 million funding? And John said, I assume Sullivan and Cromwell represented them when Clayton became SEC chair. Clayton had Hinman meet with Consensus and Lubin in December 2017. They met another 3 to 5 times, including 6 days before the free pass speech. SC brokered the deal with JP Morgan and Consensus. Then Clayton filed the case. Boy, oh boy. And then John Deaton says, in an interview with Forecast News on acquisition of Quorum, Joseph Lubin, co-founder of Ethereum and co-founder of Consensus, said Consensus and JP Morgan have been very friendly and collaborative for quite some time. We've interacted with them roughly from the start. Then he goes on, we started to interact with them in a really concerted way around the time of the advent of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. We were two of the major drivers of that initiative and have been two of the major drivers of the activity inside the EEA since the launch. Those quotes are at the beginning of the interview, Now, if you listen right here, this is back in 2014. This is Vitalik Buterin. There's a guy in the audience that asked the question. He says, asking about Goldman Sachs involvement. He says, Goldman is mentioned on your website or something to that effect. Let me refresh this so you can hear it.
Financial contracts, you can use either to yeah.
Goldman Sachs involved in the deal. Goldman Sachs, they're mentioned on and I'm asking them to explain
we have 2 employees who at one point used to work for Goldman Sachs. Okay, let's get this myth out of here. Ethereum is 100% New World Order 3.
Okay, so here's what we know just from all the different things that I've talked about for the last few months. As he says that Ethereum's New World Order 3, we know, first of all, we know that JP Morgan was there before he's standing there. We know that. We also know that he downplayed Goldman Sachs, but we also know Charles Hoskinson, I've got that on video too. Charles Hoskinson said they had senior Goldman Sachs programmers on the staff at the beginning, okay? Look down here, this is a good point. Ripple says, DAI, notice Gavin Wood, one of the founders, notice him cover his mouth just as the guy brings up Goldman Sachs. So it's obviously a source of uncomfortability. And now I want to show you this. I don't know who this guy is, but this thing is getting, look, at the start of this, it was just people in the XRP community on Twitter that were showing this stuff. Everybody's starting to get it. Watch. If I can hit the refresh button and freaking play the thing, you can watch.
If you own any Ethereum, this is critical information. And unfortunately, this news...
By the way, I don't know if that music's going to give me a copyright hit, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you watch it. And if you don't see this, then just, in fact, I'll talk some during it so that there's a less of a chance of me getting the copyright hit. But if you don't see it, go to my Twitter, or go to John Deaton's Twitter feed and you can find it.
Darker than anybody was hoping to hear. That is because new information was leaked that unveils corruption within the Ethereum ecosystem. And this is a system many thought to be corruption-proof. It all evolves around JP Morgan and this man right here. So strap in, because this is going to be a long one. The first thing you need to know is that this man, Joseph Lubin, is the co-founder of Ethereum. An early video was released of Lubin telling early investors of Ethereum how to hide their actions as crypto whale. This leads many to believe that Lubin has many crypto wallets and is disguising them, meaning he holds a larger position than originally thought.
That's correct.
But here's where it gets crazy. It was revealed that Lubin not only was a co-founder of Ethereum, but the owner and founder of Consensus. Now hang in here with me, because this gets complicated, but I promise it all connects. Because Ethereum relies on a system called Infura, which is actually owned by Consensus. And Consensus is owned by Lubin himself. So he holds much more power in the Ethereum ecosystem than people ever imagined possible. So this does not look good for Ethereum, but unfortunately there is even more. You may be surprised to learn that Consensus also owns MetaMask and the intellectual property associated with it, or at least it did. That is because something insane happened in August of 2022. Mysteriously, the intellectual property for Infura and MetaMask was transferred to a different entity called CSI. And this was done secretly without the permission of the shareholders of Consensus. But unfortunately, that is still not all. Because there was one major stakeholder in this new company, CSI, that would shock you. And is the mega financial institution JP Morgan. They bought a controlling stake of CSI. This now means that a major financial institution owns the infrastructure that is critical to keeping Ethereum running. And all of this was done in total secrecy before whistleblowers and shareholders released this information to the public.
That's correct.
So be careful when you believe that these blockchain protocols are corruption-proof, because unfortunately the truth is much darker. And this is a huge revelation for Ethereum, and unfortunately I believe we will see more revelations from other blockchains come in the future. So
one of my favorite movies from growing up was Children of the Corn. And it had that redheaded guy Malachi. I thought it was so creepy when I was growing up. That's what that music sounds like. Now, John Deaton, there was apparently another one of these articles glorifying these people, these Web3 people. Web3 backers like Andreessen Horowitz, Chris Dixon, whose firm was a beneficiary of the recent ApeCoin drop, see a gold mine in blockchain-based future of internet. So this article came out talking about how great these guys are, and John Deaton says, "Dear," apparently this is the woman that wrote it, Emily Nicole, I have the best follow-up story for you if interested. It's quite possibly could be the biggest financial story of insider trading and dealing in decades. Here is an overview. You can go to crypto-law.us and click on the video library for evidence how Web3 Ether-free Pass was born. And I decided I would help this out. Hey, Emily, Bloomberg Crypto, saw your article on Chris Dixon and Web3. If you want the real story of how Web3 was born, we have it. Here's part of it. Watch this.
So Jay went on the warpath to these scathing speeches and calling out the industry and everybody. But he then, after talking to Grunfest in a fireside chat at the Stanford campus, made his way over to see Andreessen the next morning. And this is the part that now not a lot of people know. And he invited Chris Dixon to round up the industry players who were really kind of trying to do it the right way, and asked for a couple of things. One, essentially, lay out in a very detailed, written, footnoted memo what existing law says about utility tokens, and two, give us a proposal for where to go from here. And so Andreessen, I've been representing Andreessen and all of their crypto investments since the beginning, and so I got the chance to be the one to write all that stuff.
Finally, we have a financing model for these.
Now that's Chris Dixon right there. Listen to what he says, because I think that he might very well have been like a fortune teller here.
Networks, and I think that's a very positive thing, right? And open networks can now enjoy the same kind of economic flywheel that for-profit companies have. If you look at the companies like Twitter and Facebook, one of the reasons they can get so large is they get this feedback loop where they get bigger, they raise money, they generate revenue, they feed it back into R&D, and they have these giant R&D budgets. And so now, what's so exciting to me is that the open world now has potentially a similar economic flywheel and can kind of compete on a level playing field. One thing, there's a lot of discussion in this community around things like governance to talk about, which is the idea, essentially, let's make sure we get these models right so we don't end up in the same place 15 years from now, and then instead of, Mark Zuckerberg, it's whatever Vitalik in front of Congress or something, or Toshier, I don't know.
Now, let me tell you what the irony here is. The whole thing that they've sold as Web3, as this decentralized thing, that all sounds great. There's nobody that would rather have a decentralized world where nobody can take a website down or they can't take your YouTube channel down. To me, that's great. That's wonderful. The problem and the disturbing thing is that that's what these people have been selling. Web3 is decentralized. It's going to change everything. But if you start peeling back the onion, which is what the XRP community has done for the last year, you find out that there's a handful of people that were running this show that put all this together. And you combine that with the clip where Joseph Lubin is talking about how he's going to help whales disguise their purchases in the Ethereum pre-sale, and you combine that with the fact that this whole thing is obviously, they've tried to build it around Ethereum so that Ethereum has a monopoly on token issuance and DeFi and lending and staking and all of that. Because remember, Gary Gensler's not going after Ethereum, he's going after Coinbase if they try to lend. He's not going after Ethereum 2.0 staking. I've got something on that later. But if you combine all of this stuff together and the fact that it's never been audited, nobody knows who bought that Ethereum, who those disguised whales were, then all of a sudden you have something that they've been shouting from the rooftops as decentralized, and it's not.
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.